All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Henry Crook Bird, and it has been a good while. I think the last time I played a performance was back in February in Leipzig, Germany. Very excited to be back at it. I've got plenty of new material, classic material, anything one could ask for. If you have requests, feel free to send them to me. I will see what I can do about them. All right, now for those of you who are tuning in super early, I'm going to start with a song that has never been recorded. It's an old song, but it hasn't found a home yet. But it's a fun one, so here we go. It's called, well, here, let me just surprise you here. Your baby is the ugliest thing that I've ever seen. He'll be happier than sin under your warm and tender care. And I can't wait to see how your mistakes will mold him into a man who makes the best of all the burdens that we share. And I said, away, hey, day to day, forgive me, please, I'm bad with names, but there's a face I couldn't quite forget. There's no vibrant, pleasing pattern, I'm an educated guess. Like a moth beneath the porch light, my instinct sometimes fails. But on those nights that come on darker, I can often flutter farther toward the tantalizing nectar on my trail. And I said away, hey, day to day by the light of the moon, I'll find my way, I always make it back to my front door. My car is packed and ready, pulled the posters off the walls, and I can hear the doubts within me, but I'm answering the call. And I can't tell what lies before me, no, I can hardly see it all, and I'm chewing way too hard on every thread. And I said away, hey, day to day by the light of the moon, I'll find my way, I always make it back to my front door. The ugliest thing that I've ever seen. Yeah, all right, getting the rare stuff in there early on. So one of the individuals who will not be able to join us live tonight is my sister. And so she'll be catching this one later. In her honor, I'll play the following tune. I was thinking of her when I wrote it. It's a sweet little song called Mein Liebchen, which is German for my darling, essentially. I'm writing you now, cause it makes me feel better. I'm feeling the grind, but I've pulled it together, so far from the arms that held me back down to the earth. So I'm spinning in orbit, scrambled a mind up past the atmosphere, selling my time, but through all commotions I've never forgotten your worth. And whoa, my Liebchen, take the time that you need, but won't you please write back to me? Well, I've pulled out the quagmire, dried off my feet, been scooped up and fed by the people I meet. I find angels of earth around every odd corner I turn. And as I stand ever stalwart in the face of it all, my mind starts to drift off, meander, and fall back to days of devotion and shelter for which I still yearn. And whoa, my Liebchen, take the time that you need, but won't you please write back to me? frantically step up to keep with the drill. My overblown synapses firing at will. I'll forever be scribbling my name down in blue or black ink. It's a trek through the fog, pushing hard up the slope, but I'll punch to the peak, tuck my arms in and coast down the road to the edge of composure, right off the brink. Oh, my Liebchen, take the time that you need, but won't you please write back to me? Take the time that you need, but won't you please write back to me? Well, wherever you're at, Lily, I hope you're having a good evening. And there's another good friend of mine who I didn't think was going to be able to join us live, but he managed to wiggle his way in here, so I was going to dedicate this to him, but now I'm not going to. It's a song from my very first EP called Forgotten Fishbowl, called May the Devil Swing By. I don't like songs about the rain. I've heard too many in my time, and it's an overdrawn cliche that life is hell beneath the morbid skies of gray. So throw one on the fire, wrap your weary feet and lie down next to me. May the devil swing by at the crack of dawn and turn around once again, 'cause tonight, my dear, we ain't got one place to go. He's bound to break the door down soon. He'll smell the fear from a land away, worn to dust from the longer days. Temper sanded thin, the head's not flayed. So throw one on the fire, wrap your weary feet and lie down next to me. May the devil swing by at the crack of dawn and turn around once again, 'cause tonight, my dear, we ain't got one place to go. Got no plan to plan ahead. It never works out anyhow. And I've left a couple points unsaid. We'll break it piece by piece, run when the levee is down. So throw one on the fire, wrap your weary feet and lie down next to me. May the devil swing by at the crack of dawn and turn around once again, 'cause tonight, my dear, we ain't got one place to go. This next song here is from my most recent EP, Home for the Winter. And, you know, as I don't know what you would call me, a contemporary folk musician, oftentimes we're trying to write music that we can take with us through the years, that'll grow with us, whose kind of significance evolves alongside of us. And this song very much has kind of grown with me and popped up every now and again when I needed it. And as many of us are, closing unexpected chapters and embarking on new ones, this is one that comes to mind. A song called Go Again. Make sure that's all nice and tight. There we go. 6 rows down from the preacher, holding my head in my hand. I've never been on your level, but I can rise to my feet on command. So wrap me in the angel's wings, embrace me where I stand. And I think I'm ready to go again. I think I'm ready to go again. You laid flowers down at the service on the land where you used to play. You're chasing ghosts on the sidewalk, you just can't turn away. So I'll find you there in the open air, pacing round the bend. And I think I'm ready to go again. I think I'm ready to go again. Let myself grow closer to an unfamiliar fear. I've closed my eyes to the breaking dawn, barreling ever near. And my road-worn, stateless heart could tell you just how long it's been. I think I'm ready to go again. I think I'm ready to go again. Well, thank you so much to everybody who's joining me tonight. I'm really honored that you're spending your time here with me. Oh, this is exciting. I get to play a new tune. Yeah. So this is another song that hasn't found a home yet, but that's okay. Dude was just born yesterday. Well, not quite. Yeah. I suppose you could say this is a song about expectations. It's called To the Grave. My father's charms aged inside the barrel in his chest. Yeah, the women loved him ever more each day. But the ones he chose throughout the years have proved to be a drain. And he took his dreams with him to the grave. His hand was just a call away, forever aimed to please. His back it buckled hard beneath the strain. That saint deserved his equal, but he gave himself away, and he took his dreams with him to the grave. I'm haunted by what could have been scenes of better times. His light will shine forever on my mind. But time has made a fool of me, and there's nothing left to save. He took his dreams with him to the grave. All right, settle. His were the shoulders that we stood upon, lifting us above. Every soul out on the sidewalk knew his name. And every road he drove to work on was a road that he had paved. And he took his dreams with him to the grave. And on the day he died, I dressed in red with war paint on my face. And uptown to weep, and there's still so much to say. And they dug that plot hole 6 feet deep and buried him in his cage. And he took his dreams with him to the grave. And I'm haunted by what could have been. His light will shine forever on my mind. The time has made a fool of me, and there's nothing left to save. And he took his dreams with him to the grave. Oh, one more now. But time has made a fool of me, there's nothing left to save. And he took his dreams with him to the grave. Real barn burner, that one. So, okay. You know, I'm kind of hiding these behind me, but I also play the ukulele incorrectly. It's another thing I do. So we're going to go all the way from a brand new unrecorded song to one of my absolute old standbys. This water cup is my favorite. My roommate and friend Christina got it for me. It whistles a little bit. Oh man, the slurping is my fault. All right, this is a song called Punch the Clock. I woke up this morning to a world without the trees. Had no place left to hide, laid out for all to see. Send me back to my foggy dream with the hookworms in my head. Punch a clock, babe, and I head back to bed. I've got gin in the cupboard, expired milk in the fridge. It's 7 o'clock in the evening, I haven't moved an inch. It's times like these I start to think my heart is made of lead. Punch a clock, babe, and I head back to bed. I've got quite a bit to explain, but nothing to say. I'm leaving you tomorrow, 11 years too late. One more minute awake and hell's the only thing I dread. Punch a clock, babe, and I head back to bed. That one's going out to Starshine, who I believe is with us tonight as well. Welcome, everybody. My name is Henry Crook Bird. My records are on sale. The link to the store page is in the description of this video. They're all 50% off. You can buy the whole discography for an extra 50% off, and you can enjoy my music any which way you please, digitally, CDs. I even have a cassette. It's a long story. Maybe I'll get to that at some point tonight. So, and hey man, if you're dirt broke and you got nothing better to do with your money, just sit back, relax, and enjoy the tunes, man. Let's see, did I put that ukulele away too quickly? Yes, I did. Oh boy, here we go. It's time for some ukulele blues rock waltz. It's also from Forgotten Fishbowl, another early one. This is about the advice I've received over the course of my life. Well-meaning folks with big important things to say would sit me down for big serious talks, and they sounded sometimes a little bit like this. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Stop painting daisies, boy, don't waste your time. Give yourself direction, straighten out your mind. Time isn't money, but work does you fine. And son, you'll be a grown man someday. Get yourself a suit, son, pinstriped and black. Give friends your money, watch it go in their hands. Travel to big lectures held all across the land. And son, you'll be a grown man someday. Steer clear of women, they won't ease your pain. Buy yourself a house, shelter from the rain. Hardstone will save you, boy, time and again. And son, you'll be a grown man someday. Oh, quit, buddy. Fear not your future, the path that you tread. There'll be plenty of time for living when you're comfortably dead. Sit back and treasure the good times ahead. And son, you'll be a grown man someday. And son, you'll be a grown man someday. My brother Javier Bird Rodriguez, I believe, was just 17 when he helped me record Forgotten Fishbowl way back in the day. And so we brought in his Stratocaster, and I told him, hey, for this number, the Someday Waltz I just played, could you just play like the grossest, all over the place, way over the top, just blues rock solo. Like, really try to be a bad ripoff of Stevie Ray Vaughan or something. And he's like, all right. And so he jumps in, and in one take, he lays down this solo where he left the time signature. He wasn't even in meter with anybody anymore. And it was fantastic. And he didn't need anyone to tell him. He looked at that and he's like, yep, that's it. I'm not doing anything else. And he had to learn to play his own solo afterward. He had to go back and study because he had no idea what was going on when he was doing it. I always think fondly of him. I'll be talking more about Javi as the night progresses. He's had a big hand in my music. Unfortunately, this particular physical CD, Forgotten Fishbowl, that those songs are on, is no longer for sale. This thing is out of print. The masters were burned away, as well as all the stamps and everything that I used to put it together. But it is available digitally. It's an older piece, but it's still a good one. So anyway, let's keep going here. Oh, yes. All right, so this is a fun one. Thanksgiving. This is back when I worked in the quarries in Santa Cruz. And I met a guy named Tim, who he was just a lonely miner out in the rock, and so was I, really, if I'm being honest. And they worked long hours, 10, 12 hours a day, 5-6 days a week, and so when holidays came around, it was really important. It was big, serious business. They took off. They went and saw their families. They did as much as they could with the time they had. And he knew I was like 4 or 5 hours away from anybody else that I knew, so he just kind of invited me over to his house, and I had made some other plans, but I was really touched by that. So this one's dedicated to my grandfather, Rick Bird. It's his favorite song. Here we go. I'm a fixture at the quarries. I work from dawn to dusk, pushing mud and crushing rock and choking down the dust. And I can swear that I was born here, and it's here that I will rust. But tonight they all can kiss my ass. I'm punching out for home. And I can see your avenue here, far out away from home. No corner in particular to be. And I've got a house right on the mountainside, and I want you to know that you can come around the bend and spend the holidays with me. The days all blend together here, forever on they drone. The boss will work your fingers till they bleed. Well, they can work me in that pit until they're digging up my bones. But not a soul on my watch will spend Thanksgiving alone. Make a feast around the table by the labor of our hand, working side by side throughout the day. And losing sweat around the stove is but a meager price to pay, for you'll find nothing closer to perfection all across this land. The chicken is to die for, raised in our backyard, fully stuffed and cut across the grain. And my wife will bake a batch of biscuits that'll tear you off the reins. So tuck it in, dear friend, at either end, sit firm and eat your fill. The days all blend together here, forever on they drone. The boss will work your fingers till they bleed. They can work me in that pit until they're digging up my bones. But not a soul on my watch will spend Thanksgiving alone. There's Javier Bird up there in the chat, along with Starshine and a bunch of other people I've been name dropping. That's great. All right. Oh, look, a monster. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Very good. Okay. Oh, another new one. So this one's interesting. This is a song that I am getting ready to record for my next record. And I don't want you to get too excited because it's a ways out. I'm still writing material for it. But I'm hoping to record it in the latter half of this year. And this song was written based off of a couple prompts that I got from, the first was from my good friend Devin. And he gave me the prompt of a man wistfully sitting on his porch and thinking back on his family. And I got a second prompt from Liam Wilkinson, who does a lot of the art for my records. And he gave me a bunch of really beautiful descriptions of places, of a feeling, of a mood. And I used none of them directly, but it really brought me back to images and senses that I had experienced while wandering my hometown of Marysville. I can't stop writing about that goofy little town. So I put all that together and I wrote a song called Tracks of Silver. We're a speck on the highway, motel's empty, springboard to journey forth. My young ones both took a tank of Bill's gas and burned it on their way up north. This town still sits on the main line, Central Union Pacific time, steady as she goes by, keeping speed. Nothing here for the freight line, nothing for me. tracks of silver, rivers of gold, blood down below, dirty levee road. When my mother was young, she used to dance on tables in the clubs in the desert out west. She's got a wit like a straight razor held to your throat and eyes that never rest. And at the top of the year when the sky's clear, I'd pull her up a chair outside as her minds both wander to the young ones far and wide. A picture of longing, wooden frame of pride. Tracks of silver, rivers of gold, blood down below, dirty levee road. And in the alley street there's a walnut tree that time could not keep still. The roots splitting the sidewalk like the long Sierra Hills. And they'd run their feet through the oil-slick creek, keeping rhythm with the rain. Lost in the elements, blissful, gritty, and plain. They're back on my mind with every shift in the winter wind. Tracks of silver, rivers of gold, blood down below, dirty levee road. Welcome, Ariel. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Thanks everyone else for joining me as well. I really appreciate it. Let's see what we got. Oh, hey, so this is a request. I got a request from another Henry, who I met while I was a student at the Sacramento Job Corps Center. And I wrote this. This is an old song. I wrote this back when I was an anxious teenager. 4 other anxious teenagers, and so I played it a lot when I was over at that campus. And this was one of the songs that we laid down for Beneath the Veneer, speaking of Devin, which is a release I did with him. That's the one that I have on cassette. They were posterity recordings originally, and he just looks over at me and he goes, "What if we made a cassette?" And I go, "Well, you know, it's a thing we could make happen," and here we are. And I wish I had one to display for you here. I do theoretically own a copy, but I don't know where one is. But here we go. This is called My Mind's Got a Mind of Its Own. My birth was uninvited but accepted. I was warmly welcomed in and treated right. And the demons of a battle found temporary peace, and I became a little angel overnight. Well, the earth that took to dancing and the moon is spinning round, and soon I saw the world through my own eyes. But cooking in my noggin was a dark and bloody coup, and I was sitting like a goose when it began. Mind's got a mind of its own. There's another little man in my head, and I'm never quite certain as to what I'll do next, but I'm always ashamed of what he says. folks would share what's on their mind if they couldn't speak, and I quickly learned that honesty's an art. And logic is the golden rule if only in your head, and consistency was missing from the start. Cause my mind's got a mind of its own. There's another little man in my head, and I'm never quite certain as to what'll do next, but I'm always ashamed what he says. Let's pick a little now. I appreciate the effort that you make to miss the point, and I hear the change of words as you speak. And we can get along together, cause we're all so insecure, and fear of retribution keeps the peace. Cause my mind's got a mind of its own. There's another little man in my head, and I'm never quite certain as to what'll do next, but I'm always ashamed what he says. I'm always ashamed what he says. All right. What a throwback. Speaking of songs that grow with you, right? This is, in fact, Banjolele. I'm doing it. So, this is a gift to me by my friend Lisa Clyde, and so we're going to put it to use here, playing a song about how to make sourdough bread. And during my recent excursion to Leipzig, it occurred to me that Germans don't make sourdough bread very often, and neither of my roommates knew why I was letting uncooked dough go bad on top of the fridge. So, you know, it's important to educate folks when you can. Here we go. You take a small glass bowl, flour H2O, let it sit for a couple of days. You can store it, you can use it, don't forget to feed it. Stir it up well, scoop, have it away. Flour, salt, and milk and butter, toss it all together, mix and start it, baby. Let it be your bread, baby, let it We're gonna play a bridge now. Fast, so in case you missed it. You take a small glass bowl, flour H2O, let it sit for a couple of days. You can store it, you can use it, don't forget to feed it. Stir it up well, scoop half of it away. Flour, salt, milk, and butter, toss it all together, mix in the starter. Baby, let me be your bread baker, let it rise. Hey, there it is. Oh man. Well, so that one's not on any record, but it is, I think, the most recent video that or song that I posted up to this channel here. So feel free to enjoy that whenever you so please. What do we got here? Oh, there it is. This is kind of a love song. It's from my record Patches to Mend, right here, which is one of the ones that Liam did the artwork for. It It looks kind of like a folk metal album, so I always kind of worry that people will be a little disappointed when it's, you know, kind of lacking in chug. But instead it's, I don't know, German accordion music and whatnot. You kind of get what you get, I suppose. I wrote this song while I was at Job Corps. It's a Job Corps song. Aspirational, if you will. Shovel-wielding mortal. Well, I was doing just fine before I met you, and you seemed to be just fine and dandy too. And I can say without a doubt that I don't need you, and for both our sakes I hope I never do. But I've got choices every day laid out before me. I need a vision and a plan to see me through. So I'll be making my way down to see you shortly. I envision myself out there choosing you. Said the foreman, boy, you are what you can handle. You'll need to pull your weight above the bottom line. And to the gods above you couldn't hold a candle, but you'll be paying bills if you can cover mine. So I said, am I not just a shovel-wielding mortal? I can work beneath the candlelight just fine. And for to line your pockets I will spit and toil. I'll push my boot from heel to toe along the line. Well, I was doing just fine before I met you, but things are still alright with you hanging around. And to the gods above I still can't hold a candle, but things are looking fairly bright here on the ground. There it is. Yeah. Oh, you know, this song here is for all the single ladies. When I was young, my pa said, son, it's time to build the dream. Send away for the Frisco Bay and rake that do-re-mi. There are fortunes to be made, but boy, that living don't come cheap. So sink your time and you might find the bounties that you see. Well, I took on every word he said and found that I agreed. So I strapped my belt one notch too tight and dusted both my knees. Greased my elbows inside out, whipped round to face the breeze. And I worked around the clock for everything that I might need. I've got a house right on the harbor. It's got a swimming pool out back. I've heard it's quite relaxing. I can't wait to take a splash. But I clock it in to satiate desires that I feed. I am a man me. And I've got a cherry Harley Davidson, silver, chrome, and black. Took it for a spin one time, it hasn't nary a scratch. But I still recall the wind in my hairs and made that engine scream. I am a man me. Now I stand before you old and gray. I got boats and trucks and jet skis nearly bursting out the seams. Spick and span, they're just like new, I'll sell them to you cheap. For I'm a man means, yes I am, darling, I am a man means. One more now. I am a man means. Oh man, so that actually what that song is kind of what I imagine Woody Guthrie might say if he were still alive and visited San Francisco in the modern era. Good old whistle cup. All right, this next song here is one of my favorites to play. It's off of the record Home for the Winter, which is this one right here. And Devin Wells is the one who did the photography on that record. It's real beautiful. If you get the physical CD, it's got more of his artwork inside and on the back. And this tune is kind of based on a story a true story that didn't quite happen. It's about a recently divorced woman on an extended trip overseas trying to find herself. It's called Osaka. I am 5,323 miles from a built-up memory of you, watching a rose-colored sunset on Osaka Bay. And in a few short hours I'll be curled on the floor, thinking back on the world that I knew, grinding my nails through the carpet and spinning away. Every morning I scrape up and shuffle into town. The people I meet are the friendliest around. In the hours of the day I could swear I'm on the top of my game. And the old men gather at the bar by the pier. They've been playing chess together for 30-odd years, but I can already feel the tide pull me away. In a few short months I'll be flying through the sky to the ruins of the family I knew. I heard they took the remains and put them up on a museum display. I'm troubled by thoughts of how the empire toppled as I watched the foundation fall through, helplessly lost in the weight of the role that I played. The old men gather at the bar by the pier. They've been playing chess together for 30-odd years, but I can already feel the tide pull me away. And I can already feel the tide pull me away. If you listen real closely to the end of that recording, there's some frogs that are croaking in the background as it fades out. And it was great because they, to the best of my knowledge, were quiet throughout the entirety of the recording. They waited until just when I was finished playing to come in as an outro chorus. It's perfect. So, here we go. Let's see. Where are we at? Ah, yes. So I'm going to bring the ukulele back out. This is another one from that very same record. It's a song called Borrowing Trouble. When I recorded it on this here banjolele behind me, because it was the only ukulele I had at the time that was properly intonated. But Marvin Clyde gifted me this instrument, and it was real nice of him. It's a wonderful little ukulele, and I think this song sounds real good on it. So I'm going to play it on this one today, and it's based on something that my mother told me that her mother told her, which was not to borrow trouble. Essentially, don't worry about what's coming up next. It hasn't happened yet. And it goes like this. I'm writing you this song in bits and pieces, across the rolling valley far and wide. And as the summer showers cleanse my aching body, I can feel the thunder rumbling at your side. So may the lightning set the land ablaze, up and down the mountain range. We brace ourselves against it every year. We'll watch the smoke eat up the sky, make it through very much alive. These storms don't burn forever on, my dear. And I did hesitate to put it all in writing, for there's a mighty weight of love out on the line. But we've built this brick by brick up for the better. There's no surprise to this foundation that you'll find. And my mother told me not to borrow trouble, 'cause there ain't nobody out there lending time. So I won't pick this all apart down into rubble. This day before us now is yours and mine. So I'll lay frozen here no longer. There's a warm and winding path I can't deny. We can beat the trail and walk the range together, and thank the gods above for what we find. My mother told me not to borrow trouble, 'cause there ain't nobody out there lending time. So I won't pick this all apart down into rubble. This day before us now is yours and mine. Yeah. Okay. Get this guitar back out here. Straight back to Forgotten Fishbowl here. This is a song about a man who has a really crappy car that would not be able to withstand cross-state travel. But he's very determined to make it from California to Chicago to steal a woman from another man. And I don't know if there's anything else I can say. Here we go. Dug a bike out the backyard shed, still works like a charm. Thick-toothed tires and hard spokes ready to ride. Gonna tackle the hard-nosed trail of the California-Illinois line. Shower up shade, stand out right by your side. He's sweet, he's witty, shares what he's got. What little he's got is enough. His loyal and gentle way give you reason enough to stay. But still I pedal on. Broke the gate of the Grass Valley north to the desert below. picturesque state of despair, for not an ounce of hope. I rang the bell of the Great Salt Lake, found a friendly hello, selling my pride bag for 2 cents door to door. It's my Mormon joke. Nobody ever gets it. He's sweet, he's witty, shares what he's got. And what little he's got is enough. His loyal and gentle way gave you reason enough to stay, but still I pedal on. Says on the map that I passed Cheyenne, I must have missed it, I suppose. Plowed through the trail to the Omaha border, just a pinch in my nose. Turn the page on the fields of gold, I've got a chapter to go, to catch in my lakeside that you call home. He's sweet, he's witty, shares what he's got. What little he's got is enough. His loyal and gentle way give you reason enough to stay, but still I pedal on. But still I pedal on. I'll never forget, there was this guy, the sound tech at one of the shows was playing, and he comes up to the stage after I play that song, and he goes, hey, how do you know that Nebraska smells bad? I didn't have the heart to tell him it was kind of just public knowledge, but what are you going to do? So this is another new one here that I think I'm going to record for the upcoming record, which working title is Beyond the Gate. This is a song called Hollow Eyes. Been a picture in the back of your mind. I'm on the altar, circled by the pagan stone. You reach out to touch me, guided by the thunder resonating through your bones. You say, take me away from here, idle of mine. I've been drifting alone in the wind, and we can cast off together in a world of our own. We'd never have to look back again. Don't try me as a hero in the court of love. Don't put your idols on the witness stand. I've been sentenced in absentia many a time. Never runs clean in the end. You can build it up to what you want, wrap it in a bow. The jury is yours to command. But beneath the fable lies a man already captive for reasons he don't understand. Desperation coats the tip of your tongue. never tasted none, staring down my hollow eyes. Truth be told, I'm as blind as the rest. I couldn't set the record straight if I tried. I've wasted the time of countless before you, watched them all lose their minds. I'm gonna head back to town and tear the altar down. I'm gonna burn down the effigy and use the light around me to find the real book and crown. Desperation coats the tip of your tongue, but you never tasted none, staring down my hollow eyes. I see Devin's made an appearance. The absolute lad, thank you so much. Thank you everybody who has been joining me tonight. This next one here, oh, is it another new one? It is! It's from that same soon-to-be album. Okay, so this is a song about a air hostess in the 70s on a trip into Houston. And it's called Race the Sun. Real excited to play this one. You'd never catch her dead disheveled. She wore her buttons brassed and beveled. Air host continental, Houston bound. And this land that cradles yours and mine is home to hers just part of the time. Close the gate, by God, she's leaving the ground. And up there time's a foregone end. They can race the sun and nearly win. Every touchdown's another one, amen, born again. The doctor slumps down on the lawyer man's chest. One village meets another and they're all headed west. 90 bolts of lightning striking this sliver of time. Stuffed in the corner of your every beck and command. Call her the shepherd of limbo with a seltzer in her hand. Lie down, tender ones, you're all bound to see it through. Tucked back in and settled, hardly 10 grand to the level. Front end locked and sterile, final circle in. But like a wave the fleet descended, left the gates on ground congested. They'll be stuck up above and waiting, holding again. So out the porthole, barely blinking, she watches Houston slowly sinking as the city churns on unthinking, paying no mind. And as the earth calls out demanding that inevitable act of landing, upon further reflection, it suits her just fine. Up there time's a foregone end. They can race the sun and nearly win. Every touchdown's another one. Amen, born again. Ah. Okay. My dear friend, Christina, was sitting next to my dear friend Nick, and they were doing what many couples do, which is talking shop about their future wedding that they would theoretically have. And she was sitting there and thought, it'd be great if Henry could come and sing some songs. What about Denny's? And it's at that point that Nick looked over and just absolute incredulous, dumbstruck. Denny's, well, okay, most of my repertoire is not appropriate for weddings. Really, it's not it doesn't have that 90s country piano vibe that you're looking for, but Denny's is especially ill-suited for any happy couple, for any couple, really. But it has forever been cemented now as the wedding song. So here you go. This is it's a song about the people I would meet in 24-hour American diners off in the corner somewhere. Said I was a man of decent means, but they never heard I worked for every dollar that I spent, and I gave out to the charity of the helpless, dirty wench I'm eating. Denny's alone. I remember when you used to hug me hide behind the couch. I remember when you were daddy's little girl, and I sat by as you got swallowed into his fiery pits of hell. I'm eating Denny's alone. Extend my well wishes to the happy couple. Days them in, days them out. To hell with you, that's all I say. I paid you already. Why don't you leave me alone? I'll sit here as long's I damn well please. You ain't got tables full. I'm eating I'm eating Denny's alone. I'm eating Denny's alone. Too much fun. But you know, I have written a love song or two. And so here's another new one. Falls under a much more wholesome classification. Another one that I think I'll lay down for Beyond the Gate. New record up here, coming up there. Up here. As she rolls onto her belly, city rumbles how she groans. In tandem with me, she ain't rolling over alone. I keep the windows closed, keep the noise out of my room. And deep down within me is a green meadow in bloom. As Eve sat by the snake and quietly pondered her shame, she said, I think it's quite exciting to give this tension a proper name. So she found her fate beyond the gate, beneath the gentle moon, singing, deep down within me is a green meadow in bloom. As I rise to clean and shave my face of waves of gray and brown, I wash my feet in the growing heat of the sunlight bearing down. And though today I must collect my clothes scattered round the room, and deep down within me is a green meadow in bloom. My head's ablaze in the summer waves, my chest an impetuous storm. My arms give way to a soft embrace of the weight of days before. And I'm rolling down that valley river, patiently to you. And deep down within me is a green meadow in bloom. Not a second too early, I'll stand before you soon. And deep down within me is a green meadow in bloom. Yeah, fun fact, that note that I'm trying to hit on bloom does not in fact exist in my range, but that never stopped me. Yeah. So way back when I was a teenager and I was taking guitar lessons up on Paradise Ridge, I would walk just past the music shop and down to this gas station right at the edge of town. And I would walk in, and every week I would buy a single package of Pop-Tarts and then leave to go to my lesson. And after a while, the guy behind the counter just started giving me the Pop-Tarts for free in exchange for some conversation. And I spent many a wholesome little session chatting with him and interacting with the customers that would come in, and just a lot of people watching. And it very directly led to this particular tune called Corner Store. It's another song that you can find on Beneath the Veneer, which is the cassette release, which is thankfully available digitally for those of you who do not own a car that you can shut yourself in and play a cassette within. We've got potato wedge fries, $1.50 a pound. You can find them just about anywhere here in town. I guess they're all right, 'cause we sell quite a few. but I especially like it when we sell them to you. This job's not the worst, keeps me up on my feet. There's not much to do, but there's plenty to see. The creature's a habit, families on the road, a day in the life of a day of no note. The truckers buy the coffee, but they add their own sugar. Reminisce about old Sally, swear that they loved her. The fire at the altar, smothered senseless by time. A white dress of satin stretched across the state line. Jerry walks on a cane, and he drags through his neck. Slaps a Lincoln on the counter for his next cigarette, and throws his throat back in humor as he clutches his chest. Shuffles back out the door at the snail's pace of death. Tammy stares through the walls, wanders aimlessly near, brings the family inside an Astro filled with blankets and beer. The dogs are at the neighbors, doctor's note on the wall. A wife behind the wheel, going no place at all. Got potato wedge fries, $1.80 a pound. With a new blend of spices, the sales are still down. The years have been rough, but I'm sure we'll get through. But I especially miss it when we sold fries to you. It just occurred to me that Father's Day is coming up soon. I've got a Father's Day song. Yeah, shout out to Daniel. I remember him saying he enjoyed Corner Store. Very sweet, I'm glad. So when I was about junior high school age, my dad got in his head that he wanted to be a fisherman. And he got himself a big tackle box full with all sorts of gizmos and gadgets. And we drove up the hill to Paradise Lake, and boy, did we sit there and cast those lines. I think in the year or two that we did that, his grand total was one bass. Probably around a foot long, not a bad bass, but it was the only bass. It was the only fish that either of us caught. I caught nothing on those outings. And but it's still such a warm memory in my mind, you know, all those kinds of experiences where it maybe isn't about the specific activity that you're doing, but who you're with and what the circumstances are. And so from the EP Patches to Mend, here is 4 Bites Full. It's 5, 6, 7 in the morning. Father and son headed out to the lake. Pop out the back, grab a pole and line. Lunch in the knapsack, dinner on the mine. Up the winding road on the edge of the canyon, out by the dam and the virgin pines, tucked in the hills with the greenhouse farm, scattered in the shade by the worn-out mines. Carrots and tea and a can of worms, double and paddle in a red canoe. pair of boots, a boy and a man, and not one clue. It's 9, 10, 11 in the morning, far past time when the fish are on the shoreline, laid back, going through the motions, staring at the sun and murdering time. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 sunfish sitting in the back of my dad's old Ranger. Bring him home to mom, gonna gut him with a steak knife, 4 bites full and your dinner's all done. Carrots and tea and a can of worms, double and paddle and a red canoe, extra sweater and a pair of boots, a boy and a man, and not one clue. Carrots and tea and a can of worms, double and paddle and a red canoe, extra sweater and a pair of boots, a boy and a man, and not one clue. Oh man, I really like that tune. It's always a fun one to play. So yeah, friends, thank you so much for joining me. I'll do one last little plug. Got much of the music that you hear is on 4 records that I've released over the years. They're on sale now. You can get them dirt cheap. Links in the description. And I really appreciate it. I've had an excellent time playing this show. I'm going to end it with another song that absolutely evolves and grows with me. Its relevance never fades, it seems, and I don't know that it ever will. Like many of the songs that I've written that work, I wasn't sure about it initially. You know, it can be so hard to predict what's going to catch and what won't sometimes. So here's Thank You for Your Time. Head to the bank, sign the dotted line, mosey on home at no particular time. 'Cause Saturday's a canvas you can paint as you please, pastel impressionism washed in green. The blur of the evening, short and thick on my mind, takes the edge off the heat of the pounding summer grind. Tomorrow morning I'll be headed out west, choking on the valley air and swimming in sweat. Foot on the pedal, nothing tying me down, still find myself on shaky ground. Your guess is as good as mine. So until we meet again, darling, thank you for your time. It's T-minus 20, I'm halfway over the state. A few short turns and I'll be parked at the gate. City veins are pumping hard, pushing me through. Trapped in the rapids, there ain't much one can do. My grandmother's voice fills the back of my head, faded and gentle like the low tide. She said, when I was your age, I threw in the towel, bought a flood-stained dive bar on the tired side of town. Left the girls with the key, let them wander the tracks. Married a tattered rag and seldom came back. I went and died young with plenty of patches to mend. And I think wherever you're at, darling, that you'll be fine in the end. I know tomorrow you'll be headed out west, choking on the valley air and swimming in sweat. Foot on the pedal, nothing tying you down, still finding yourself on shaky ground. Your guess is as good as mine. So until we meet again, darling, thank you for your time. Once again, thank you all so much for joining me. I hope to see you very soon, whether in this place or safely in the next. Take care of yourselves. Love you all. Until next time.